Hi, welcome back to Momarchy. Wow, if 2026 had a smell, what would it be? I think for us here in Colorado, it is of cow manure because of the stock show and the general vibe.
Oh, good one. I was gonna say cough medicine.
Ugh,
NyQuil.
yeah. Ooh, maybe NyQuil. NyQuil sounds, I wish that I could take NyQuil. And I did.
Oh, can you not?
No, well, just because of like having a child.
Oh, I guess I don't do it when I'm by myself, to be clear.
I was gonna say, my husband did take the night shift a couple of times, and I took NyQuil because when he doesn't work in the morning, sometimes I do night and he takes the morning, but those nights, man, it was great.
I know. I said NyQuil, DayQuil because I'm still in it. Kids were up coughing last night. I'm still not fully recovered. For those of you watching on YouTube, like you're getting the whole, sweatshirt, messy bun. That's where we're at, guys.
It is where we're at. It is quite a year, 2026. I know we've said this
Boy,
for every
every
episode.
episode.
We're like, "Oh my god, it's only January 22nd. When this comes out, it'll be February, I think, finally." Anyways, it's louder, it's messier, it's more chaotic politically and personally, and this is not a self-care episode, it's a survival guide episode. So, we're gonna do a little twist on what we normally talk about and what we're going to be doing as we get through all the chaos. But before we get in, Sarah, I know you're caught up with Traitors.
I am. Oh, man. I kn Michael.
Michael, he didn't handle things very well.
No. Oh my god. And then, like, what was the whole thing where he's like, "I'm, like, the sexiest, like, most good looking," like, and everyone was like, "You need to go." I mean, I also don't think he was intending to make a homophobic comment. I think it did come off that way, and obviously we weren't in the room, and obviously there was editing that went into it, but I truly don't think that was making he intended to make a comment that was homophobic, but that is what's going around on the internet. Is he made a comment about Colton Underwood and said, like, "You would be the best traitor because you're such a good liar." And Colton took that as, like, because he didn't come out until he was, like, in his 30s, I think. It was, like, after The Bachelor. I mean, he went through the whole Bachelor. Anyway, yeah, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think that and like you said, I mean, we're not people who are impacted by that comment. And so, like, it is I'm sure that, like, we saw Johnny Weir and we saw Jam Jam that were very upset by it and, like, can 100% understand that.
Well, you shouldn't have said it.
Correct. I also think that he was making a lot of good points about Colton, though, and that it was just being articulated terribly. Because, like, the way that Colton handled Tiffany, I think, was horrible. He just, like, gaslit her, pushed her out, and this is a single mom that is just trying to get money for her family and just, like, got her out of there. And then when I was looking up Colton, I sent you the, like, article and stuff on how he had stalked his ex-girlfriend, but put a tracker on her car and, like, had a restraining order. She had a restraining order against him. So, like, Colton's not this great dude. Like, Colton's somebody worth looking into.
Yeah, I watched that whole season of him being in The Bachelor, and he's from Colorado, and then after The Bachelor, there was, like, a lot of drama because of him and Cassie, who he was engaged to. They ended up breaking off their engagement, and then he came out as gay and then did, like, a whole Netflix series with him and Gus Kenworthy, who's also from Colorado, who's, like, the Olympic skier, about, like, his coming out journey, which, like, I watched the whole thing. I would say, like, there are some parts that were really powerful, but others where you're like, I like, obviously, I don't know what it's like to be in Colton's shoes, like, that's incredibly especially, like, growing up in a conservative household, very religious household, playing football, but, like, some of the actions that he had and he did towards Cassie were, like, stalkerish, borderline non-abusive, like, questionable. He has come out publicly and said, like, "I was wrong. that was a terrible thing. I shouldn't have acted that way. But, like, yeah, I think he's definitely, like, being really intense in Traitors. He's like, "I'm in it to win. Da, 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 da. I'm hardline." I think he's gonna get voted out soon because people are starting to pick up, like Kristen.
Yeah, I like Kristen. I liked Kristen before that comment, and then I was like, "Okay, like, she's been paying attention to
What's happening?
some shady stuff that's going on." Yeah, definitely. Alright, well, exciting. Amy Poehler won Best Podcast, the first ever Best Podcast Golden Globe, and, love it. Love Amy Poehler. Just so excited that it was her.
Very excited. I also think in a world like, podcasting is known very much as, like, a man's world. Like, there are so many more podca I think I saw a statistic that, like, 80% of all podcast hosts are men. There was a few other women podcasts, like Call Her Daddy was nominated, but Amy Poehler's podcast is great. It's also, like, fairly new. She launched it last March, and it's, like, grown into this big thing. It's very similar, I think, as Call Her Daddy, and she just has those funny conversations and laughs, and I just listened to the Jennifer Lawrence interview.
Oh, how is it?
I would love to have J-Law on the pod. She is so gr I mean, they're both great. She just seems like both of them seem very down to earth for their fame and stature and all the things, but very happy for Amy. Keep doing what you're doing, girl. Maybe have us on, Good Hang. We could be good hangs. And we can't wait to see what she does next.
Yeah. There's I don't know if maybe we already shared this, but throughout the journey of Momarchy, we've talked to a lot of different, like, production companies and everything, and a lot of them are male-dominated, and there was a male-dominated one that said, "We already have a podcast for women, and she has children. How is yours different?" And we were like, "What?" And this is a network that has, like, 20 male podcasts that are all about the exact same thing, and we're like,
You know who
"It's
you are. They're
you're
not listening to this.
you're not listening to this,
You're definitely not listening.
it's a women's podcast."
Yeah, we already have a women's podcast, so we're good.
And I think right there we were like, "Oh, like, this isn't our home."
Yeah. I mean, I actually just, like, to digress and going back to that memory, I remember, like, having the conversation and being like, "Wow, this is so cool that, like, we're having this conversation." And then after the call, I was like, "Are you annoyed by that conversation?" Just like and I think we, like, both started to get more annoyed as we talked about it, and we're like, "Yeah, and that was a weird thing that they said," and, yeah, but the, like, "Oh, well, we already have a podcast for moms." I'm like, "Well."
No, it's also like a mom who happens to have a podcast. It wasn't even like a podcast for moms. Like, she, like, every once in a while would mention that she has a child, but oh well. We're moving on.
Good job, Amy Poehler. We're very excited for you. She's been getting a little bit of, like, pushback, though. I mean, I think for the most part, everyone's super stoked about it, but there have been some people that are like, "Well, of course you want it because she's a celebrity," and it's like, well, all of these podcasts that are nominated for these big awards, like, they have millions of followers, so, that's why they have a following, like, I don't know. I mean, like, I would love to be nominated for a Golden Globe. It's not gonna happen. Maybe it will, but, like, if someone can be nominated and win, like, let it be Amy Poehler.
Yeah. That kind of feels like, why didn't this independent film win, as opposed to why did all of the ones that are in the movie theaters win,
Totally.
is the vibe I get.
Mhm. Yeah. Also, High School Musical just had its 20-year anniversary. This is random, but I was, like, looking up fun things that have happened lately, and the reason this is coming up too is because of all the 2016, 2026 stuff that we've talked about last week, and it kinda makes me feel old, Tanya. Like, the 20-year anniversary of High School Musical? Oh my god. How old does that make Zac Efron?
My
He's older than
age.
he's like 40, right?
Oh, is he? I think that maybe he is, but he was really just a baby Efron at that point. I think he had braces, but we still thought that he was so cute, and Corbin Bleu, I don't think that I liked that movie, like, unironic or Yeah, I think that I just liked it. I think I genuinely just loved High School Musical and was like, "This is talent," and maybe it still is.
This is talent. I think there's like a meme that has gone around for years now at this point, targeted towards mostly millennial women. And it's like Zac Efron was my type in middle school, and he is still my type now because he's, like, now gone through this whole transformation of, like, he eats really healthy, and he's, like, a yogi, and he, like, has that show where he was, like, discovering all these cool environmental things across the globe, and he's kind of, like, rough and tumble now. Anyway, Dylan hates when I say that about Zac Efron, but it's so true.
It is true.
Was my type then, is my type now, I guess, like, we love you, Zach. He's, like, a good guy. I think he's a good guy. Sober now. He's had a lot of life things happen.
His brother was on the last season of Traitors, wasn't it? Dylan Efron? Wasn't his name Dylan?
Oh, I didn't watch the last season.
Dylan's on it. Efron.
Is he as cute as,
He's really cute. He's very charming. He, like, became
Of course he is.
the more popular Efron for a second there, but it just made me want to know their entire family. So if there are any Efrons out there.
Maybe Zach will come on the pod. Zach, if you're listening. Okay, moving on. So we know it is 2026, and we've been complaining about 2026 for every episode we've done so far. But guys, don't worry, it's the year of the horse. So February 17th is officially the start of the Chinese New Year, which is the year of the horse this year. And we're very excited. So if you're having a shitty January, like we are, at least I am, my year has not started. It starts on February 17th.
We're banking on it. We're banking on the year of the horse. There's my in-laws, my sister-in-law Shasha and brother-in-law Josh are Shasha's Chinese. They're very into the Chinese calendar and Chinese years. And I know that year of the horse is a big one. And they always say, like, as long as you weren't, is it the year of the rat or the year of the snake? Whatever the one is that I was born in, like, as long as you're not that year. And I was like, that was me and all my friends. And they're like, oh, we're so sorry.
Well, and we just were in the year of the snake, 2025. So I actually have it up. 2026 is the year about momentum toward our truth that 2025 revealed. It's all about forward movement, energy, and transformation. Exciting.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, Year of the Snake was 1989 and last year. So,
Oh, is that why Taylor Swift's like her whole snake thing?
I don't know. That's a great question
Huh. That could be an interesting Easter egg
that we just discovered.
that we just figured out. Has anyone else thought about that?
I don't know. If not, this could go viral. Guys, we did it.
You and Dylan are both 89
Good. So he is also Year of the Snake.
and Travis Kelsey. So
Yeah, we're in good company.
you are.
We're this Year of the Snake. But anyways, we've had a lot of heavier episodes in terms of content lately. This is going to be more fun. So grab your coffee, tea, kombucha. I see, Sarah, that you asked in the notes if it's still a thing. I love kombucha, so yes.
Great. It's a
Or-
thing.
and let's get started. We're gonna talk through survival kits. Sarah, do you wanna explain it?
Yeah, we thought that we really liked our fantasy draft episode. So this is a little bit of a twist on that. So we're going to talk about our 2026 survival kits. So we're going to be talking about this in terms of politics and in terms of motherhood, parenthood. So to do this, we each get 4 things for our survival kit. 2 things to get us through this era of parenthood and 2 things to get us through the chaos of the news. So we'll talk about parenthood first and then politics, and we'll just alternate. Tanya and I have actually prepared for this episode. We do not know what our picks are, so we will be reacting in real time, for better or for worse. So, Tanya, what is your first thing in your survival kit for parenthood?
Okay, for parenthood, I picked toddler gymnastics.
Oh, yes.
As we refer to it in our household as nasties. So we go to nasties every Saturday morning, and it's a scheduled time that, like, we don't have to plan. There's so much room for her to run around and just get out her wiggles. It, like, anchors us. We're with people who are familiar, but, like, we don't know them past their first names or that they're in this little gymnastics world. So, like, we can go and kind of socialize with them, but not invest emotionally. And then that's it. It's just like this little window on Saturday mornings that, like, we get to have kind of a calm time that we're not really responsible for, I guess, if that makes sense. So, Saturday morning gymnastics, just kind of an anchor. That is something that is in our survival kit, at least I know, kind of keeps me grounded throughout the week.
I really love that, and I think whether it's gymnastics or swimming class or soccer or some kind of activity, to have something that, like, can anchor you is really great because as people know who have young kids, having to plan activities when they're not at school can be a challenge. So to know that you have that one thing and it's like, and then we're gonna go get lunch after, like is really we had like a really busy fall and winter. We had like skiing, we had soccer, swimming, and now we don't have anything right now, which I'm kind of actually thankful for because it's just been kind of a crazy month. But I love that. I actually want to look up gymnastics for my son here. That would be really fun. Nasties. Did you make up that name?
Yeah.
Of course you did. I love it.
Just going to nasties.
Go to Nasties.
I think that your son could probably do a lot more skills than my daughter in her age group right now, because it's mostly just, like, us throwing them in the air or, like, rolling them and then kinda toddling along, but, hey, it gets their energy out. She's happy. What's your first pick, Sarah?
Okay, mine is just radically lowered expectations. Maybe not like a thing specifically, but like just lower your expectations. There I think over the last maybe 5 years, there was the, like, Sheryl Sandberg era of, like, moms can do it all. Like, you are doing it all, you're being the boss lady, you are hustling, you're looking good, you're in shape, and it's just not a thing. And I saw something recently about, like, everything is just not gonna happen at the same time, and that's okay. Like, you can be in different stages of motherhood. Like, you're not gonna be your most in shape self or, like, thriving at work or being the best partner and mom all at the same time, and that's okay. So I'm, like, lowering my expectations.
Didn't we have a guest, or was this something else that I watched, that one of their questions was, "How can you have it all?" And her answer was, "You can't. When I'm being, like, the best mom I can be, I'm not putting my all into work and vice versa." Does that sound familiar?
I feel like every parent we've talked to probably has said something in terms of like, I feel like we've said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you literally can't. It might have been Brittany Pedersen or Lindsay Doherty, but who are 2 elected officials who we interviewed on the pod last year, but yeah, I think we just need to, like, let go of the expectations, like, put that in your survival kit. I always say, like, put it in a bubble and blow it away, but, like, put it in your survival kit. It's okay, you're not gonna be everything to everyone. I am just internalizing that and putting it in that kit, and I need to remember. So, that's my thing. Okay, Tanya, what's your second motherhood survival kit item?
It's actually kind of in the same vein because it's settling for good enough. And I don't think this means that we're not optimistic about 2026. I think that it means that we're, like, ready to get stuff done, but, like, it's okay. We're gonna get through this. Because I think that, like, in terms of what our daughter is eating, the state of our house in terms of stuff put away or cleanliness, or, like, walking our dog, if the walk is long enough or whatever, just, like, some things are good enough, and that's great. It doesn't have to be 10 out of 10 every single time. Sometimes it's gonna be 5 out of 10, and I think that's a win.
That's good enough. What is it? It's better is good? Better is good is a Joe Biden thing. So, shout out to Joe Biden for that quote, but I totally love that, and I will be bringing that into my survival kit as well.
What's your number 2?
It is literally just a quote, a mantra that I'm going to internalize, and I've said this before, is like, I'm gonna say no to things, but it is, quote, "I'm not available for that." End of quote.
I like it.
This doesn't work for my family right now. I'm not taking that on right now. I don't have time for that right now. I think, like, definitely as moms, but as parents, like, are defaulted into, like, emotional labor, saying yes to everything, just skewing boundaries, and, like, I'm just not available for this.
We're so used to and feel like we have to give excuses for stuff, and sometimes you just don't need an excuse. Most of the time, you don't actually need an excuse for just being like, "No," and you don't have to explain it, and that's fine.
Yeah, I find it, like, it's so hard for me to even make plans these days because, like, I desperately wanna have plans, I wanna say yes to things, and it's like, I'm sometimes, like today, I haven't showered, I haven't even eaten lunch, like, I'm just trying to answer client emails and get on client calls, and, like, I'm not available for this right now, sorry. I think what's hard, like, I'm digressing a little bit, and I know we've talked about, like, friendships and motherhood, and I find it hard because, like, I live in a place with, like, I have mom friends, but I don't have, like, super close friends that I can just, like, really shoot the shit with, and sometimes that is hard for me, but, like, I'm also not available to make myself available to make those, like, better friends.
Yeah. I wish that, like, I was closer with the women, for instance, in our Jewish babies group because all the moms are incredible. We're all on this text chain. They're so reliable. It's been a great source of comfort, but, like, I also had my baby first, and so we missed a lot of the social stuff. I was on maternity leave before a lot of other people were, so, like, I just didn't really have that time to get to know people as well, and now it feels like it's too late because n now it's just life is going on. I'm like,
Life.
"Ugh." Like,
I know, it's like, I feel bad I think about it, I'm like, "Oh, well, I went and got drinks with that person 6 months ago." Like, I mean, even before I had kids, like, Tanya, you and I were like, "Okay, we're gonna, like, meet up for a margarita, like, once a year." Like, and that was, like, not like, enough, and I love that time, but it's like, I don't have time to be able to, like, see my friends and see people and spend time with them. And I think that that's going back to your thing that you want in your survival kit, like, better is good or whatever. And what is it again? You're
good
for
enough or Joe
good
Biden's
enough.
better is good.
Like, it's good enough, and sometimes that's all you need. Like, don't not see anyone or not have friends, but, like, also, sometimes you just wanna go and take a shower and prioritize that.
That sounds
That's
delightful.
sad.
I d
Okay.
We're like, "Today's gonna be fun." And this is where we're at, but I think everyone else is too. So, Sarah, what is your first thing in your survival kit for politics this year?
Okay, mine is opt out of the outrage cycle of shit online. Like, opt out of it. We do not need to be 24/7 doom scrolling. I just bought this thing called this is not an ad, it could be, called The Brick, and it, like, is just like it has a magnet and it, like, connects to your fridge or whatever, and there's an app on your phone, like a screen time app, which I've tried before and it didn't work because you could just, like, turn it off. So in order to get access to your apps, then you physically have to, like, tap the brick. So I'm excited to do this. Like, I am going to set it from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., and so I'm not distracted by Instagram when my kids are home, and I'm not, like, sitting in bed for 30 minutes scrolling on Instagram because, like, that's the shit I see, and then I'm also gonna set it in the morning because the first thing I do is, like, look at my phone and I see all the shitty news from the night before or, like, that's happening, and it's not a great way to start your day. It really isn't, and so I'm opting out of that, and I'm going to make a real concerted effort to just, like, consume less. So, I'm taking my brick and I'm putting it in my survival kit.
That is very similar to one of mine, which is just not doom scrolling. And I think that this last year I did much better simply because I wasn't on Instagram. And so now I don't really scroll through Instagram that much, but I do scroll through the news app. And sometimes I find myself, just spending too much time on that. And I think that, like, what I started this year and what I'm going to continue doing next year is, 1, it's fine to unsubscribe from stuff. So, unsubscribe from email lists that, like, you get and you're really freaked out at the title because it's like, "You're the worst Democrat in the world because you did not donate $5, but you have a chance to do it again." And I'm like, "Okay." You can unsubscribe from the text, like, just try to limit the amount because if you're getting that information 10 times or 10 hours out of your day and, like, you don't have a chance to mentally reset, that's so bad for your mental health, for your physical health. Like, the difference between when I just don't pay attention to the news at night, and this doesn't mean be ignorant or ignore it. Like, there is a very big difference between that. Like, stay informed, stay active, but you don't need to have stuff on your phone and, like, be texting somebody all of the time asking if they saw X, Y, or Z terrible thing that happened. So I guess that's probably my one. What's your second politics thing?
I love that. I think it is so, so true that our mental health is just, like, directly attached to some of the news that we consume, and so I was also gonna this could be in our survival kit, but as a little reaction is I downloaded the app called Ground News, and it's really interesting because it will tell you the source and if there's, like, a blind spot from either, like, it's too liberal, it has a liberal lean, or it has a Republican lean, or it's, like, pretty centrist. And it's really interesting. So now I actually use that, mostly where you can just, like, scroll through and you can choose, like, I wanna look at stuff that has to do with Renee Good, or I wanna look at the government shutdown or US politics or whatever. So that is a great tool to bring into 2026 because it's, like, very easy to understand, and it will tell you, like, this article is it says it's leaned to the left. So, I try to find stuff that are pretty, like, centrist, where it doesn't have a bias either way. Okay, that's not my number 2. My number 2, though, is when feeling really hopeless, and I have friends and family members that are like, "I just wanna fight. I just wanna, like, just be on the streets," which, like, if that's your self-care, which someone said this in an interview before, like, activism can be a form of self-care, I think that's okay. But also for me, like, it's finding an organization like a local organization and setting up a recurring $10 donation. And for me, it has nothing to do with politics. It's my local theater because I love the local theater and I was a theater kid. And I think that's really important to the community. So, like, find something that is really easy. It is okay to be a slacktivist right now. Like, if just donating $10 or, like, I don't know, texting a friend an article that looks interesting, like, that's okay. So, it's kinda like, again, it's like taking a step back from, like, your usual, like, yeah, you need to, like, call your representative and your senator every week and until they respond and show up at all the protests, like, if if you can if you cannot do that for your if that's gonna be detrimental to your mental health, like, that's okay. So, that's what I'm putting into my survival kit is, like, even in the world that we're in as political consultants, I also feel like I'm doing my duty as a consultant, but you're not in the political industry, like, find a local nonprofit, a food bank, a local kids theater troupe, like, volunteer with them, do a cleanup, that's it. Did you have the same one?
Have essentially the same one, yeah. I said focusing on actionable items that, like, make a difference to people. So, what's happening in terms of immigration, the ICE rates, and we talked about this with Alvina, it's just heartbreaking. Like, it is so terrible watching what is going on and seeing the news and feeling helpless and, like,
Horrifying.
and yesterday I didn't know how to really process or how to help, like, how to help in this moment, and I wanted to do something besides donate, even though donating to these organizations is very powerful, um, and I was thinking, which, like, this might be a very Jewish thing to think, of is in the 1940s, what would I have wanted my neighbors to do or what would have meant a lot to me? And so I text a couple of people and just said, if you who are friends with people in the immigrant community and just people who honestly aren't white, and said, if somebody is afraid to go to Walmart, to go to Target because there were raids this week in Colorado, like, let me know. I'll go to the store for them. Like, just trying to do something
Oh, it's really nice.
to, like, make their lives a little bit easier and take the anxiety away from that because, I don't know, we just need to actively try to help each other right now, and I think that just showing support and showing that, like, they're not alone in this fight means a lot.
Yeah, I, recently was in a back and forth text chain with my family, my step-siblings, my dad and my stepmom about ACE raids that are happening in Maine, and it's really scary, and there's a lot of horrific things happening. I think it's really easy to get overwhelmed and feel like you're hopeless, and, like, I think both of us were talking about, like, actionable things. I do wanna read something my stepbrother sent, which I think is it was, like, very wise and was good advice. This just I mean, this is, like, literally in real time, but and he said violence and fear are never the answer, especially now. Sometimes you have to accept that the world will play things out and we do not have the power to stop it. The best thing we can do is to keep our families safe, set an example for what the world should look like once the madness ends to our kids. That's why we still need to do our best to elect good people to office and demonstrate peace and civility. So I like really thought that was like an actionable thing. Like we are doing the best we can. We are taking care of our families. I love the idea of, like, texting people and saying, like, "I can go to Walmart for you." Like, "I can go to the grocery store for you," because that's what we have to do. Like, times were dark, and I don't think they're getting better anytime soon. So, like, the only way through it is through it.
Yeah, the only way through it is through it. We're in it now, and I do think that there is a light at the other side of the tunnel. I think that I had friends that told us this during the first, like, week of having an infant, and it kind of feels like that now of there's a light at the end of the tunnel, you just can't see it, and so, like, you just have to keep going with the hope that it's there and that, like, there is going to be something. Your stepbrother's right, like, what do you want this world to look like after this? Because like, start that now and do what you can.
That is such a good, example of, like, the parenthood to the political piece of, like, yeah, when you're a new parent, you're like, "I don't know what the fuck is going on." Like, and it feels like it's never gonna end. You're like it's like 2 AM and you're just, like, up all night and you're, like, a delusional person, and you're just like, "It's never gonna end, it's never gonna end," and then it ends. And then you're like, "Oh, let's have another one." But, like, it but it's so true. It's like I mean, that's how people probably felt about Donald Trump. It ended, and then they're like, "Let's do another term of Donald Trump, guys." It wasn't that bad.
That's America's a 250-year-old infant just screaming and hungry, and you don't know how to help it, but, like, you try to take care of it, and one day it'll be less colicky. America's colicky.
Sometimes they're better than others. Well, should we do, like, a quick bonus round?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, because this year's been particularly a crazy one so far, we get a few extra items for our survival kits, everyone, because we make the rules at Momarchy. So, here are a few questions that we're both going to answer, and hopefully it will. And I did not prepare for this. I don't know, Tanya, if you have. I have not. So it's going to be whatever pops into our mind is put into our survival kits. So, what is one non-negotiable boundary for 2026?
I am saying, and this applies to, I think, both of us, is going with our gut and not letting someone tell us that something isn't wrong or is like the way that something is supposed to be if we know that it's not right. So I think that a non negotiable is Like, when when we know that something should be a certain way, that, like, something is off, if somebody tells me, "Oh, like, that data is not available," for example, because it never is, and we know that that's incorrect, saying, "Stop," just, like, stopping it right there and calling it what it is. So, I think just calling things out when you know what's actually going on.
I like that. I'm gonna apply that to work, putting it in the kit. Mine is again, is has to do with my kids, is, like, I think last year I had a hard time having boundaries with work and family time, and it got a lot better the second half of the year, and this year, it's, like, non-negotiable. I'm with my kids. I cannot talk to you. It's like the one of my survival, so it's kinda like this a similar survival kit item that I had talked about before, which is like, I cannot do that. So, non-negotiable. I just, like, I think it's something hit me with my son recently where I'm like, he is a kid. Like, he is 3.5. He turns 4 this year. Like, he's going to kindergarten in a year and a half. Like, oh my gosh, it's going by so fast that, like, this is the time I have. And it's like, if people can't deal with that, then bye-bye.
Do you know the ABBA song slash Mamma Mia musical song, like, "Slipping through my fingers all the time"?
Oh, yes, yes.
I was listening to that the other day, and, like, it's about somebody watching their daughter grow up, and I can't really relate because, like, she doesn't have a school bag in hand. She's not going away, but I was like, it just hit. It hit hard.
No, I get it, I get it. That is definitely how I'm feeling right now. I'm like, "Whoa, my kids are like they're little humans, and they're not gonna be little humans for that long." Okay, so what is one tool, like an emotional tool or like a literal thing that you're relying on that you're gonna bring to your into your kit?
Right now, it is actually our former guest Shannon Watts' book, Fired Up. I started to read it when we first had her on, and then I actually just continued. And it is such a phenomenal book. It's really inspiring. She talks about just trying to figure out basically like get a second wind. And that I think it speaks to a lot of specifically women in this phase of life where like maybe we've gotten to a certain point in our careers or we have families and it's just kind of this thing of like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing professionally? Or is there something else that like I'm supposed to be going through? Am I supposed to be trying new things? Like it addresses a lot of that and kind of navigates your thinking into productive paths. And that has been really helpful. Just, I mean, it's just been like the last week that I've been reading it, but it has been very helpful. What about you?
This might be a little self-serving, but honestly, for me, it's like I love doing Momarchy. Like it is like literally a thing that I look forward to doing. It's fun. Like we're learning as we go and we get to talk to amazing people. And it's like one thing. I know not everyone can just go and start a podcast, but that I guess is not the point I'm making. It's like, what is the thing you're doing for you? And when we wanted to start Momarchy, it very much was like we are parents, we're partners. What we do for a living is we make everyone else look good, and we're like very much like in the background. And so it was like nice to have something that was for us and like find that one thing that is for you. So that is the thing.
I love that. That's great, and it is, basically the year anniversary of when we were texting and said,
It
like,
is.
"Should we do this together?" And I was in, like, postpartum delirium, and you weren't that far away, like, your daughter's not that much older than mine.
I remember, yeah, I was in DC. It was like early February. And yeah, anyway, yeah, we are almost at the like 1 year. Okay, what last one? Because this is just so fun, we could be going all day, is what is one lie you're officially unsubscribing from in 2026?
I'm putting to rest every single person that was in 2024 who said there's not a difference between Kamala or Trump. people do terrible things on both sides, it's not gonna make a difference. And now when people are saying there's not a difference between Republicans and Democrats who are doing this, I think that both parties have flaws that need to be severely addressed. I think that that rings true for Dems as well. There is a huge difference, though, between people who are
Like, they're all evil.
yes, and there is one group that is standing by as people are being dragged out of their homes in the middle of the night, and that is, we're seeing some conservatives pop up. Even Joe Rogan, who I guess is more of a libertarian, but he was like, "This isn't cool." And so, like, we need more of those people to start coming out of the woodwork. Like, that's what we need. We need people to call bullshit on it and to stop just pretending like this is all fine. Like, stop kissing the butt of our dear leader because he's disgusting and you're being fascist. And for all those people that are commenting on our YouTube channel and Instagram and Facebook saying, "Oh, you're going to call me a fascist. You're going to call me a Nazi." And I'm like, "Yeah, if the shoe fits, if that little Nazi shoe fits, I'm going to call you one because you're doing some pretty shady things." So, goodbye.
Yeah, I forgot we were gonna do maybe next episode, we should actually just find some funny quotes from our, some trolls that have discovered us. I feel like we were pretty safe from trolls for a while, and now that our YouTube is growing quickly, so many trolls, so many men really hate women out there. Yeah, no, I think what you said is totally spot on. I will go with one thing, let's see, one lie you're officially unsubscribing from is I think sometimes people can say, like, in Parenthood, like, consistency is key, just, like, keep, and I know we've said, the sun is gonna come up, but I think, like, it's okay to sit in the chaos of parenthood. Like, it's not just because I do the same thing and, like, obviously, I love routines, but I don't mean consistency in terms of routines. I'm just saying I think, like, it is always gonna be a little bit crazy and chaotic with kids, and that's okay, and, like, sit in it, and it's, like, organized chaos or disorganized chaos, whatever, and I'm just unsubscribing from the lie that, like, it's just gonna get easier. It's 'cause it does get easier in some ways and harder in other ways, and, like, that's the beauty of it all, and that's okay.
It is okay that it's just very different stages, and it's okay to not try to lie to people about it also. Like, when people are talking about the first few weeks of having a kid or, the transition from going through 1 year and starting teething and everything, it is really cool to watch them grow their little personalities and start to babble and stuff like that, but, like, teething sucks, it really sucks, it's gross, and kids are gross, and they're so, quote, unquote, "passionate," AKA, like, little brats. Like, I love my daughter more than anything. She's getting very opinionated, and we're just, like and can't even talk yet, and I'm like, "What? Like, how do you know you don't like this?"
Yeah, Claire's like that right now. The grunting. Ah, I'm like, "Are you a little, like, dinosaur?" Like, she the grunting is unbelievable these days, and I'm just like she's, like, caught always, like, my son was not like this, like, always, like, screaming, grunting, crying, like, very lots of feelings.
And you're like, "It's a shoot, just let me buckle this."
Yeah, just yes, I do, yeah. It's
You need it. It's 12 degrees outside, like, and you're gonna scream when it's not on because 'cause you're cold, like,
I know.
help me help you, girl. Okay, so we're gonna go into Ask a Millennial Mom lightning round, so this will go, I think, a little bit quicker.
We'll do our best.
Is it okay to care less about politics than weeks to survive motherhood?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Should kids know who their parents voted for?
Yes, I'd saying yes.
Yeah. Yeah. If I mean, if they're old enough and they ask, sure, why not? Whenever our TV's on and Trump's on, my son goes, "Trump's a bad man, right, mama?" I'm like, "Yep."
you should be able to explain to your kid why you're voting for somebody. Like, that should be that. What's more exhausting right now, parenting or paying attention to the news? Parenting. Parenting is really tiring.
Yeah. Parenting. Okay. What's one thing millennial moms were promised that turned out to be a lie?
A 4-bed, 4-bath house with a big yard. That's easy.
Mine is like that you could have it all.
Yep. Is it selfish to protect your peace in an election year? No. I think no, with the caveat of you can't bury your head in the sand either. And, like, if you are worried and you're thinking, like, "I'm not doing enough," you're probably doing way more than so many people, and, like, you're not the ones that we're talking to.
Yeah, I kind of read this as like that I can just tune everything out and like I don't people can't talk to me about politics right now. And I actually think that we're not saying don't talk about politics, don't engage, don't care. We're saying like it's okay to pull back a little bit and like protect boundaries. But like this shit is important. If we don't take back the house as Democrats, we are fucked. So, sorry, that's it. That's the game.
Game over, guys. Alright, what's a hill you used to die on as a mom that you've abandoned?
Do you have one?
I don't know. No, I feel like there is nothing that I was really ever, like, dead set on. I think I was just so clueless.
I from my first child, I have from even, like, when people like, "Oh, I had a birth plan, I had this." I just, like, had 0 expectations for everything. 0 expectations, and I was like, "You know, it will happen the way it happens." And I think that I would not change anything, and that's my style, and I'm okay with that.
One day we should go through our stories because, like, I didn't have a bag packed, and my husband every day was like, "You need to pack a bag," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll do it," and then I went into labor, and I was like, "Oh my god, I don't have a bag packed," and in fact, like, the weirdest things for the hospital, and got there and was like, right again."
That's I definitely had a bag packed, but then I packed all the wrong things, so you don't actually know what you need. And my second with Claire, I was like it was bare minimum. I was like bringing my pillow, bringing a blanket. I think that was pretty much it.
I brought, like, leggings that you can't wear when you leave with an adult diaper. That's something that I didn't consider, though. I was like, "These are comfortable."
Yeah, and then exactly, and then you're like, "I just need the baggiest, biggest clothes that I have." Okay, we digress. We can talk about that in another episode. Lots of opinions. Last one, does being a, quote, "good mom" in 2026 look different than it did 5 years ago?
I don't think so. I think that the fundamentals are the same in that being a good mom is showing up for your kids.
Yep, I agree. I don't think that there is, like, a good mom thing. It's like you are a good parent if you are providing a healthy and safe life for your kids. That's it.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, I thought that was it, everyone. That was really fun. I hope that was helpful, maybe a little uplifting, maybe a little not, I don't know, but we hope that we gave you some advice, some things that you can put into your survival kit for 2026 for parenthood, for navigating the chaos of our political system and the news and all the things. So just know that survival counts. Survival is okay. You don't need to be thriving to be a good parent. You do not need to be thriving to like know what's going on in the world. So you don't need permission to care less about things that are important to you.
No, and surviving, getting through the day 100% counts. You're doing it. You're doing it and it's great. And you know what? Maybe it's not, but it's good enough.
It's good enough.
And that's fine. At the end of the day, just look in the mirror and think, that was good enough. Here I am. Like,
I'm gonna put that on my mirror.
anyways, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Be sure to check out our Instagram at Momarchy Podcast. We do our YouTube channel is growing, Momarchy Podcast. So check us out there. And then we do have a couple of asks and an exciting person coming up.
So next week, we have an exciting guest. We have Emma Bloomberg coming on. She's going to talk about one of her new-ish ventures that she has been working on, sort of like data analytics for a nonprofits organization. So we're really, really excited to talk to her about the things that are happening in politics and also like how can we be better organized as we head into this election year and the future. So as always, please don't forget to download every episode and like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Leave a rating or review if you haven't. It really, really helps other people find the show. It takes 2 seconds. You just go to Apple Podcasts and scroll down and you can hit the 5 star. Hopefully it's 5 stars, but hit the 5 stars and then leave us a little review. And then, as Tanya said, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm, like, shocked by how many people are watching us, so and, like, looking at all of our stuff, so maybe it's a lot of people dudes in their basements.
I really hope not.
I don't know what you're
If
getting
it
out of
is,
this with
it's
our
someone.
gross sweatshirts, it's like cat hair, but anyway, please support us in all the ways, we appreciate you, and we're really excited to talk to you next week.
All right, thanks all. Bye.
Bye.